5 days away from 2017 season. We open this weekend at LSU. Obviously, as we know, we graduated 17 years last year, so we're going to have a completely new look on the field. I think it's an exciting look. I think it's a more athletic look. And I think we're deeper, actually 1 through 20, than we've been since I've been here before. So we're very young, and youth always brings interesting things at times. But overall, I would say the team's really optimistic, and we're very excited about the year.
You lost a lot of hitting production with those seniors, and you lost Reina Furita, who was awesome infielder. How do you plan on replacing all those players?
Slowly but steady. All the seniors, they were in our system for 4 years, and they had those years, that senior years when they really excelled. But good thing is, Shelby returns. Tori was coming on strong at the end of the year, so we expect our youth to step up. And now with that more, year development, they're doing really well. If they're hitting like they are in practice, we could actually potentially be better 1 through 9 than we've been. But it is hard to replace, Macy Jones and Alexi Knief when they started every day since their freshman year. But I think when you watch us, especially the freshman sophomore class, like I said again, I think it's the strongest 6 through 9 we've ever had, with speed, competitiveness, and their ability to make things happen that we've never had before. So offensively, I'm actually more comfortable than I thought I was at the end of last year.
Coach, just to kind of piggyback on that, is there anybody, a younger player that's maybe stuck out to you in practice that could maybe fill one of those gaps for you?
Tori right here, actually. She's kind of a monster right now. The pitchers are begging not to pitch to her. So that's been really fun. She's really been steady Eddie. Last year, as a freshman, she really just needed time to kind of figure things out, understand pitching, and kind of build that resiliency. Give the pitchers a nod that they practice every day too, just like the hitters. Tony Polk, as sophomore, we look for her to have a strong year. Same thing, kind of like Tori, got some consistent playing time, not necessarily starter, all 56 games last year, but she's coming on really strong. Molly Sorensen, still unsung hero every year. People kind of forget about her. Every year she hits about 295, 305, and just steady Eddie finds a way on. Then I think we kind of have a couple surprise kids this year that have been on the bubble or really haven't seen the field, but their work ethic has been so strong that we expect them to, crack the field and kind of make things happen, or at least give us what we call matchup at bats. We have some kids that are better in the inside that now can hit inside pitching. Some kids are better at the outside, and we never had that option before. So I really do expect our last year's freshmen that are now sophomores to step up, and I think you're going to see some surprises.
Tori, when you hear your coach talking, about you like that, how does it make you feel? And then also, after your freshman year, what did you kind of learn from that experience that maybe take it into your sophomore year?
I'm really excited. I would say that it's been a lot of hard work, and we all work together. And I would say that I could give credit to my teammates for supporting me, and our practices are really competitive, so they help me and help each other grow and get better. And so I would say that coming off last year, I was getting better as the year went on due to repetition and just seeing live pitching, but I'm very excited to start this year.
You guys are coming off one of your most successful seasons in a couple years, but then you also lost all those seniors. How did you carry that momentum through the offseason heading into this season?
I'd say really competitive practice, like Tori was saying. Our coaches, have really been switching it up every single day, giving us something new we've never seen before. And it's been really refreshing as a player because you go from doing the same thing a lot of the time with the same people, and then now it's completely different. You're with a new set of group, new girls, you got so many new drills, and it's made it a lot more fun to be there and to be happy and give your energy to everybody else. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm just saying, to build on that question a little bit more, behind closed doors, we talk about that, we've been knocking on the door, but we haven't really done anything yet. So the challenge was this year, coaching staff included, kind of what Shelby, was talking about, is that we're going out of our comfort zone in every area. I like to know what I'm going to do every day. Makes me happy. I love routine. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. But that also wasn't, helping us get to the next stage. So it's been all about that, and it's been all about being uncomfortable.
Shelby, after the success from last year and kind of seeing what those seniors were able to do, how much higher does that set the bar for you personally as a senior kind of taking over this team this year?
It sets the bar pretty high, but I know that with my teammates, like she said, everybody so far has been so good. If you could see our practices, you would understand. But as a senior, it gives me the opportunity to just do what I need to do to the fullest. I'm not going to look at like Macy or Lexi and be like, I need to be exactly like they were, because that's not who I am. So I'm just trying to be the best that I can be for my teammates.
Returning two starting pitchers, is that the plan to go with that same rotation this year, or do you see any other pitchers coming in maybe getting starts?
I think our pitching staff right now, based on fall and spring, is probably the strongest part of our team right now in terms of complete consistency. Marley LeBach obviously has been, arguably our ace for all 4 years. She's been getting better and better, and she's on a mission this year. Maddie Seifert finished on a great year, so that's kind of the 1 and 2 punch you're talking about. And the greatest thing about them is they set each other up really well. Like, Maddie can't win without Marley, and Marley can't win without Maddie. And then you're going to see some kids that have you didn't see much last year that have earned playing time, and you'll see them opening weekend. Maddie Schaefer has emerged herself as one of the most competitive pitchers, on the staff in regards to what she can do off speed, and she just has a completely different delivery, and she's turned out to be pretty special, and that's all because of her work ethic. Maddie Smith, freshman, she's going to see some innings. Not a lot to start with. She's going to have to still earn some of that a little bit, but she gives a completely different look. And then Jess Cummings, who's kind of been, she's had some injuries for the past 2 years, is finally healthy. And with Jess back, which we did not know that she'd be back this year, with her back, she really changes the dynamic of our staff in a great way. So we've been talking about, when we go into 3-game series, we're going to talk about 21 innings, not just one game. And I think you're going to see a lot of different looks throughout 21 innings. And I'm very, very excited about our entire pitching staff, which is really fun as a coach to say, because as we all know, you go as your pitching goes. So I'm very proud of them. Sarah Segress has done a phenomenal job with them. So looking forward to see what they can do opening weekend.
Coach, missing out on the NCAA tournament last year, is that a motivating factor for your team, from your perspective, at least from what you can tell? And then also, with so many young players, what kind of expectations have you set, going into this year, if any?
Absolutely, it's a motivating factor. We're tired of, being 65th, finishing 70th, RPI. We've always talked about that we have to gain respect in the Big Ten first before we can, gain it nationally. We felt we did that, finishing 4th in the Big Ten regular season, beating Nebraska, and finally starting to slowly chip away at Michigan, which was a big step, for our program. So in terms of, are we motivated? Absolutely. In terms of expectations, the coaching answer that you want, is more win-loss expectations, and that's kind of implied is what we talk about. That's the ultimate goal. But our expectations as a team this year is a little different, and we really want to focus on ourselves, and we want to focus on getting better every day. And if everybody can give more, head coach included, then we're going to get better. So our goal is to focus more on the process than anything else, because we can play great and lose in this game, which is not fair, and sometimes we can lose and play awful and win. It's a very interesting game that we play in softball. So our process, our goal, especially opening weekend, is to focus on the process. We have not been able to do that consistently through 56 games, and we believe as a team that's why we've had some bad weekends that have then kept us out of postseason. So if we can shift our focus and be more about us, no matter what's happening, no matter who we're playing, then we feel that will be the step that finally gets us over that hurdle.
You guys have a roster loaded with players from different states. What do you think makes you so successful being able to recruit nationally?
Penn State education, Penn State brand. I think everything that Penn State can offer. And it's very rare that you have the opportunity to walk to the field and say, we're the best academically, we're the best athletically, and we're the best at giving back in the community. When you have those three things, nobody can really argue with that. And so it's, I always say it's an easy sell. Athletically, Penn State athletics has always proven that they support women's sports as equally as the men. Our academic success speaks for itself, not only nationally, but, on the world globe, and the community with On coming up, and how important it is to give back, and how Penn State lives by that, and how we do that every year. So it's the greatest, easiest sell ever.
I would agree with that because when I came here, when I literally stepped my foot on campus, I said I'm sold. It was just, it's a changing experience coming. I'm from Texas, so coming here to Pennsylvania, it's really cold, y'all know. But I didn't care. Like I didn't care that it was gonna be so cold because when you come here, it's just this feeling of like I want to be a part of something that's this great.
Shelby or Tori, you guys start the season on the road for a month. What does it take to get through those games when there's no home field advantage and you kind of have like the wear and tear of travel?
It's kind of fun actually. Playing at somebody else's field is more like a challenge, if you know what I mean. Like it's you're not in your own comfort zone, and like Coach was saying, we do drills every day that make us uncomfortable. So we're very used to being uncomfortable. But to me, it's honestly fun. Like you see all the other cultures of all the other schools, and you gain respect for what they go through every day, and then we come back to our beautiful facility and we're like, well, we have the best field in the country. But
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that being on the road for the first 5 weeks, it's like everyone's like, oh, you're on the road, the wear and tear of the travel and everything. But we take that as a challenge. Like, why can't we go and perform in their place, and then we can prove ourselves there. We don't have to be home to win. We can go on the road and show ourselves, like show everyone what we have.
Coach, losing Alyssa Vanderveer, when did you find out that she was transferring, and did she give you a reason why?
She told me in August, and she just did it for personal reasons. And there's no hard feelings. Any kid that touches your program you love at the end of the day, and we wish her nothing but the best of success.
For Shelby, what food do you miss most from Texas when you're at school?
the Tex-Mex, 100%. Mexican food is my favorite, and coming here, it's a little different, but but definitely the Tex-Mex. I could eat chips and salsa for a meal if I wanted to. So
that's a hard question to follow, but for you guys, the success that you found last year, Coach, I want to ask you first. What's the biggest takeaway from the team that you learned that you hope to instill in this new team that you're talking about with all these changes?
I think a couple of things. The one thing you never have to worry about in regards to me is self-analysis. I will always go back and, okay, where were we good, where were we weak? Where do we need to improve? And I think the one thing last year that was really missing, and I would say would be the culture of our program, is we didn't do a good enough job playing for one another. And I think we were too focused on other areas. So this year, all summer I really focused on, okay, obviously at this level everybody has talent, but what's the intangible that takes you to the next step? So this year was all about culture and one another and really focusing on ourselves. And I knew we were off on the process piece. I knew we were inconsistent, and to win at the highest level and to fulfill our athletic goals, we have to have that. So it was analyzing both of those things and then how do we match them. So this year, the big change behind closed doors that you really won't see on the field, well, hopefully you'll see on the field by the way they interact, but it's been all about us, all about culture. How can we communicate better, teammates against teammates, staff to the teammates? How can we handle conflict better? Because those are all things that happen, but not necessarily worked on, just because you're busy and you just kind of think it'll figure itself out, where this year we've been very proactive in making sure we're on top of it. So that's kind of the change that we take from last year.
And then with all these changes, for any of you, how exciting is it to get out there on the field? Because you talked about, Shelby, it's a little refreshing to be playing something a little new. So how exciting is that for you guys to think about getting to show this off this season?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm more excited to stop playing each other and to play somebody else. With not hitting against our own pitchers or whatever. I'm just excited to see what we can fully do against a complete other team.
I agree with Shelby. I was just going to say that our team chemistry this year it's great. It's the best. I've been on a lot of teams, and I would say that this is by far my favorite team. And I think that our culture, our chemistry, and the way that we get along is 100% going to be visible on the field.
You said this weekend you're focusing on yourself. Obviously, you're going to go play a couple of really good teams. I guess how do you convey that despite the quality of the opponent you're playing, it's about you. It's not about the elite teams that you might be playing on the diamond.
We know that's always a struggle, and even as athletes and coaches, we're going to have those moments where we, focus on purple and Tigers and Cowboys for this weekend. But really, we talked about the Latin root word for competition is actually within, has nothing to do with against the opponent. The opponent just gives you the ability to play a game and have some fun. So we have trigger words now that when we need to focus on the process, that's what we're going to focus on. That if LSU punches us in the face first inning and they go up 10-0, that it's still about our process and about what we need to do and how we need to grow in that moment of having an answer inning, getting more pitches, drawing walks, stopping momentum when we can. The good thing about opening weekend is there's a lot of weekends after that. So it's only going to prepare us. And then after opening weekend, no matter what happens, we can come back and be like, okay, this is where we failed. This is where we were strong. These are sustainables. This is weak. So we're definitely going to have those moments where, we get caught up in the moment, which is the fun of it as well. But the other side of it is now I think we're going to look toward one another to help kind of get to the next step versus we became very individualistic and of trying to fix things. We're now in practice, and we are competing too deep in almost every spot where it's about us and our success as a team. So, good question.